flower crowns and all this stuff. And then my hand and my face, and then my hands.
And then you could say to people, guys, it's a character choice.
Yeah.
This incident was not included in her DVRO filing. It was in her declaration for the motion to dismiss. And this is where she does outline what happened on this particular incident. And it goes on to state that Johnny had picked another fight with her, threw a decanter at her, knocked items around the room and punched the wall, slapped her hard, grabbed her by the hair, dragged her from the stairwell to the office, to the living room, to the kitchen, to the bedroom, and then the guest room. Not exaggerating, that's actually the sequence of events in the motion to dismiss. And whilst doing this, large chunks of her hair was pulled out of her scalp of her head. He had followed her, he hit her in the back of her head, grabbed her by the hair again, dragged her up the last few stairs. At the top of the stairs, Johnny shoved her twice. She told him that he had broken her wrist and to try and get him to stop. Johnny kept hitting her. She stood up and looked Johnny in the eye, to which Depp actually says, "Oh, you think you are effing tough guy?" He reeled back and headbutted her in her face, bashing her nose that immediately began to bleed. She thought she would need to go to hospital. She told him that she wanted to leave and would call the police if he touched her again. As she walked away, he grabbed her and pulled her from one room to the next, gripping her by her hair. The fight now was in their bedroom, where Depp kneed her on her back and the other foot on the bed frame and repeatedly punched her in her head and screamed how much he hates her. The bed frame had splintered at this point under the weight of his boot, and Depp hit her with his closed fists. Rocky and Melanie came to her aid and called Nurse Erin. Raquel and Melanie helped cover up the bruises. 2 days later, she went for a concussion check, and Lisa Bean, a nurse that saw her, and I gotta do a quick sidebar here. Lisa Bean is actually not a nurse, according to David Kipper. She was a secretary, and according to Monroe Tinker, who was the actual nurse that was treating Amber Heard, she was the office manager. The best way I can probably bring together both accounts of Tinker and Kipper to what her role was, it was far from a nurse, but it seems more of she began as a secretary. That's how David Kipper remembers her or known her as the most, because that's how she started. But along the way, she got a promotion to being an office manager. She made similar allegations, just less hitting, less detailed. She alleged that because of this hair pulling, that blood was coming out. There was blood all over the apartment, and there was even blood on the bed. She actually said this.
I thought I probably had a concussion, and certainly thought I had a broken nose. There was blood everywhere, blood all over those pillows.
Now, all of these incidents can have explanations that's grounded in reality. However, and I must stress this, with the time that her friends and Amber Heard, Melanie, Josh, Ayo, and on top of that, Raquel Pennington, the time that they had to take pictures, it is not boding well that you don't have pictures of the bed that you said that there was blood and sheets on.
Did you personally observe that day this injury on Ms. Heard's face in December 25th?
I did.
And you said before you were there when Ms. Pennington was taking the photos?
Yes.
What's this a picture of, Ms. Pennington?
This is a picture of the platform bed in the bedroom of penthouse 4. The edge of the platform bed has a shard of wood that has broken off onto the floor.
Did you take this picture?
Yes.
When did you take it?
Either the night of the event or the next day.
That is really bad form and just doesn't make sense why anybody would miss that if they were taking pictures. And if you're already thinking in your head, I need to go to the police. What was the purpose of taking the pictures on this particular occasion? I'm not saying that she shouldn't have. That's far from the point. If anyone are in this particular position, I encourage you to take pictures as much as you want. What I do not encourage is inquiring with your therapist if there is an advantage of you going to the police first. Erin advised to go to the emergency room if injured or felt like she was in danger. However, Amber refused at first, going to see Dr. Kipper, saying Rocky is with her and can do it by herself, and Depp won't be able to enter the home. Okay, I do want to take a sidebar here to address something, because she has been claiming that Depp's employees has been working to her detriment. She has been also been claiming that they will not tell the truth and they also will lie in order to protect him from anything whatsoever. Erin Filardi puts brakes on the tracks right here, because we are reading her notes where she is recording. Yes, you're saying that these things happen to you. She's recording saying go to the hospital, etc. The previous claim in which she said to Bonnie Jacobs saying she can't go to the hospital because of the pure fact that it will bring media attention, but she's not saying that she's not going to go to hospital because she's afraid of media attention. She is just now saying, no, I'm not going to go to hospital. Raquel is here with me. So she has what medical expertise does Raquel have? That if Raquel was a nurse, I would actually understand. Based on this, it just doesn't make sense. The avenues of going to the hospital was actually suggested to her when she was actually going forward with any problems with Depp. She just declines. We must also note that Erin is Amber Heard's personal nurse. She has not heard any physical abuse, any sort of abuse until this day. On the 17th of December, Erin Filardi noted that she actually saw Amber Heard and that she had visible blood on her lip, to which she explained this was from Depp. This was the 16th going in. To recap again, to understand this timeline, the incident likely occurred on the 15th at likely 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock based on Melanie's account of them needing to go and do bowling. They were supposed to go bowling, but she didn't show. From here, she messages Dr. Cowan. He was likely the second person that he messaged, because that was at 12:03 a.m. on the 16th of December. The evidence here from Dr. Cowan is actually conclusive. In the message, she notes that she's going on the James Corden show that night of the 16th, and she has 2 black eyes. She also placed a call to Laura Anderson. The time is unknown. Within this call, Amber actually does admit to slapping Depp as he was talking about being with other women, and during this, she was saying that he was incoherent. Right, incoherent. Moving on, and also that Depp had bruised her face, kicked her in the leg, hit her in her leg. Please note that this is the first of anywhere, not to Cowan, not to Erin, not to anybody but Lauren Anderson, that he kicked her. She also inquires if she would have an advantage by filing the abuse first. 16th of December rolls by, and at this point, Samantha McMillan enters the fray, and she says that she was with Amber all through the afternoon and the evening and did not see her with any black eyes as per with witness statement and declaration. Amber responds to this in the UK case with saying she gave her a hug and held her while she cried. This, of course, does corroborate with Melanie's testimony. We don't know the details of her crying. With the concussion check that was done on the 17th of December, it was actually specifically noted that the time was 23:00, meaning it was quite late at night. And I do think this is the night previously on the 16th. I do think this is a day late. That's just my take. I don't know the accuracy of the dates provided here. It is very important to note that yes, she sees the lip bleeding. It was cross-corroborated by Melanie. There was a gash, but Melanie also corroborates and says there was a slight discoloration. There is nothing to note this in Erin's notes. There is no mention of black eyes in the notes. There is messy hair being mentioned. All this most likely happened from the early hours of 1 a.m. until 12 midday before she saw Samantha McMillan on the 16th of December. Again, there is no black eyes to be seen, but there is a lip that's busted open. What she reported versus what was actually being witnessed. Like I said, Erin destroys the narrative of the employee because she is actually noting what could have been an abuse.
So I'd be doing this amazing, I'd be doing like a jump with a back bend, and you can see this like graceful falling, and my hands are like.
So anyways, the show is done, and the next day Amber does go to Dr. Laura Anderson. This was the 17th, who does recount seeing darkening, like a grayish bluish color. She notes that Amber did not mention that physical abuse actually occurred, but was discussing Christmas and how her therapist was telling her one thing. Dr. Cowan, based on communications, they likely had a session on the 17th of December 2015 where he notes to him that Depp had pushed her down, and she reported had gotten back up. So based on the communications with Anderson and based on the communications with Cowan, it seems more likely that she went to Dr. Laura Anderson after seeing Dr. Cowan, which again raises a lot more questions. When did she see Erin Filardi? It is very crucial, her movements here, because if she has seen Erin Filardi the night before, then why did Dr. Laura Anderson see the darkening in her eyes, and Dr. Cowan, who doesn't even note anything of that, when did that happen? There is no real time, and I'm just basing this on what I'm reading and based on the likelihood of who she's going to first and what she's doing next, because she does see Dr. Kipper, but again, there is no time to ascertain all of this. But it is all over the place, and if I was to give her the benefit of the doubt, she may have seen Dr. Laura Anderson first, and based on the time that was given by nurse Erin Filardi, that it was likely that she was the last destination, but again, that doesn't really help anything because she doesn't note any black eyes being the case. Why her hair is messy, but the lip being split is also now up to question, because nobody else saw the lip split. Dr. Cowan does not see the lip split. Dr. Laura Anderson does not see the lip split. This is what's really damning about this, because if these are in any way self-inflicted, because I'm sorry for going here, but that's just what is suggested with all the evidence present. She has a split lip with Melanie, etc., witnessing this. Well, she says she witnesses a gash, and she says that it kept opening and reopening.
When he punched me,
Strawberry jam.
it's bleeding in this picture. It kept reopening. It's a mouth. The lips move.
So the person that saw this actually happening, and even says through communications on Instagram, etc., that this was actually happening, was Melanie Iglesias. And also for the UK litigation, Melanie tried her best not to testify for that case. I actually have no idea why Erin picks up a split lip or an active bleeding lip, by the way, active bleeding. And yet this was missed by two different professionals who I would infer are trained to spot things like this very early on.
My name is Carrie Yergi, and I am a dual board certified trauma critical care surgeon. So I'm a general surgeon in practice, and then I also do trauma critical care. So we see, as trauma surgeons, we get called down to the emergency room to see anything from shootings, stabbings, car accidents, assault cases, not uncommonly, and then things like child and elder abuse. If they have injuries, we end up taking care of those patients too. So we kind of see a very broad range of patients who have injuries, basically. Yeah, so as essentially kind of a side gig, as a passion project, I work with combat medics, and I do a fair bit of teaching and training in tourniquets and hemorrhage control. Would be helpful is we get called down to the emergency room as the trauma surgeon on call to take care of, at the current hospital that I'm working at, anything from pediatric patients to geriatric patients. And really, a good part of our initial evaluation is trying to figure out what the mechanism of the accident or injury was, because that helps us understand what tests and what images we need to order. And pretty much anybody who works down in the emergency room, when you see assault cases or you see a patient that comes in with injuries, part of our automatic thought process, because we are mandated reporters in a lot of cases, is we have to evaluate, does this injury profile, does this series of injuries match the story that the patient is telling us, or what they're claiming happened to them or stating happened to them. We always try to believe patients, but we also have to filter it through. If this patient is being abused and I miss it and I'm a mandated reporter, that's just heartbreaking. I mean, I don't think any of us would ever survive that kind of guilt. And so part of our natural professional role is, do the injuries that this patient have, do they match the story that they're telling me? So that's kind of a part of what we do for every patient that we see, but specifically cases of assault, or patients come in and don't remember what happened, or they have injuries where, oh, I fell, but they have an injury that doesn't really match with what you would expect to see from a fall. Injuries, bruises, cuts, scrapes, lacerations, wounds, open wounds from trauma should generally, as a general concept, should be easier to see on pale and or Caucasian skin. So looking at this, what you see, obviously, aside from the dark circles, which again, it happens to me too. So, we're all in this together. Those are unfortunate, but because usually when you have a punch to the eye, to the orbit, or you have something that hits your face, it's really hard to imagine how that could just have touched here and here without causing some surrounding swelling or some surrounding bruising. The other thing too is, when you have trauma to the eye, not uncommonly, the white of your eye also gets bruised. It's called a conjunctival hemorrhage. So the white of the eye will look red. And in fact, so if you're not a medical person and you've ever gotten super drunk and vomited your brains out all night long, and you wake up and your eyes are bloodshot, or there's a white part of your eye that looks red, it's literally from the rupture of a capillary, and it's the same thing. So you'll know what I'm talking about when I say the white of your eye turns red. When somebody headbutts you, this is a very broad surface area. It's hard for me to imagine a mechanism whereby this surface comes into contact with any, the nose or the orbit or anything like that. If I get hit here and the blood kind of leaks out of my capillaries, gravity is going to bring that down. So I would expect to see bruising and swelling kind of all across the nose, but also across the cheeks. And to me, again, these are poor pictures, so it's hard to say whether or not this happened when she says it happened. But to me, I would just question kind of, why is there not a broader pattern of bruising and swelling if that's what really happened?
Do you think that she has been headbutted based on her nose, like the way that the nose looks? Do you think that she has been headbutted probably 10 to 12, 20, 10 to 14 or 16 hours?
There might be a very slight bit of swelling around the nose, and that's, again, only because I know what her baseline looks like. So she might have some swelling, but again, why isn't there redness? Why isn't there bruising? Those would kind of be my questions from a place of curiosity, assuming that the mechanism is what she says it is. I would be curious to know why there's not broader areas of swelling and bruising and redness.
Would your opinion change if I was to say that she had an operation for a cyst in the eye?
That actually makes sense, because when you make surgical incisions and you're doing some kind of smaller, fine work, usually you'll see bruising or redness or whatever in a finer, smaller area. Because generally with assault, and again, unless somebody sticks a pencil or a finger in your eye, you don't see bruising like that. You usually will see a broader swath of bruising and swelling, because what's hit the face is this surface area or this surface area or this surface area, and those cause bigger areas of bruising and swelling.
Moving on, 19th of December 2015, Amber emails Laurel expressing how she's unable to get through to JD. Says that she feels the nuances of their complexities is a bit lost on him, meaning Dr. Cowan, which Laurel believes was her feeling of being known by Cowan in a more thorough way of behavior inside the relationship. So what this is suggesting is she understands that Dr. Cowan does know her behaviors a lot more than, let's say, Bonnie Jacobs. I don't think Bonnie Bonnie Jacobs knows our behaviors that well, that Dr. Cowan was not going to make a favorable impression on understanding what she's actually alleging. 19th of December, Erin messages Amber saying that she realizes that they're supposed to go onto the island. This is exactly what Amber is trying to get hold of Depp for, to go for the island. However, as we know, she has already said that Depp wasn't going to contact her because she knows that she was not going to forgive him. On the 20th of December 2015, Amber messages Dr. Cowan saying she doesn't feel strong enough. He wants to say bye to her, and he had come over to grab some things, and she doesn't want him to leave. On the 20th of December, this is very pivotal because she actually says that she wanted to leave him. She says on record that she wanted to leave him.
I told him that night I was going to leave him.
He was begging her not to leave, but it turns out that she was the one that was reporting. She reported this. Most likely, she is actually turning this incident around. In reality, she was begging for him to give her a second chance. We now have a rundown based on everything Amber Heard has said. What did Depp actually say in his UK statement? So he basically stated that it was Amber Heard that had actually attacked him and caused injuries to him through scratches and swellings. When he was cross-examined in the case, he reminded the UK court that her problem was him running away with the fight. He does actually admit to headbutting, but says that the reason why he was using this word was because she was using it. Every objective evidence does validate Depp's position and Depp's arguments for this, because again, in the audios for the divorce, where this was brought up,
somehow the end all be all and very sort of offensive thing. You can throw a punch, screaming is okay. You can headbutt somebody screaming, but don't scream.
I headbutted you.
Couldn't believe you did that.
Forehead. That doesn't break a nose.
I don't know if you romance. I don't think you did. I don't think you broke it.
Don't think I broke it. I didn't touch it.
This was 5 months or 6 months or 7 months, roughly around that, after the incident, and again he's saying no. Kevin Murphy had claimed that Amber Heard had asked him to come and look at what Depp had done to her in regards to ripping off her hair, and showed him the hair that was done. He took a picture of this particular hair on the scene 1 hour after. Now, the Bahamas incident was not actually alleged in the declaration that she signed in her motion to dismiss for the VA case. It wasn't even on a witness statement that she gave to the UK court. It was only until Tara Roberts actually stepped into the scene to actually allege what had happened on the island and what she had witnessed on the island. That's when she gave a full account of this particular incident. I mean, it doesn't look good, but Tara Roberts had alleged that on the 29th of December that both Amber and Depp were in a really heated argument. She claimed that Amber Heard had showed up at her office and asked for Depp to go back into the house, to which prompted Tara to actually leave her office. Not long after that, she heard the vehicle start and she stepped outside, to which she saw Amber standing in front of the vehicle, screaming at him and apparently not letting him get away by blocking his path. Then she climbed into the vehicle. He drove her back to their house. She also said that she called Chrissy Dembowski, Depp's sister. She claims that in the fight, Amber was insulting him, calling him names such as "your career is over," "no one is going to hire you," "you're washed up fat," etc. This was all happening as she was on the phone to Christy because she was asking her what to do. He hung up and immediately ran to the parking lot. She saw Amber lunge at Johnny, clawing, tugging, and aggressively pulling him. She claimed he continued to stand there yelling at her to stop and leave him alone. She also adds that she never saw Johnny hit Amber or push her back, nor did he physically react to any of these attacks. She claimed that she would calm down and try to go for a hug and apologize. She also knows that Amber had removed her wedding ring and thrown it and had asked for help. That's very interesting regarding the wedding ring, because the audio of Depp throwing the wedding ring on the floor now makes sense why this would be a response to that.
Do you understand why 10 minutes downstairs didn't seem real?
I don't care.
Did you hear what I said?
I don't care. I don't care.
You do care.
There's plenty of things you've done, plenty of things you've done that were absolute lies.
I didn't
I'm not
ever.
even to you about them. So anyway, I'm leaving. So I'll see you in a bit. Yeah?
Is that what matters?
Your lies?
Is this what matters to you, your party?
Your lies matter to me.
I never led you. And what we're talking about tonight is what? Who are you? Why? Why are you doing this?
I'm leaving. I'll be back.
Why?
Because I'm leaving.
What is it that is so important always to run away to? Why?
It's a runaway, yeah. I run because I'm a cop.
Why don't you stay? You asked me once not to leave, and I'm asking you. So why every 5 seconds do I get I'm leaving? Because there's a movie party I gotta go to. I have never prioritized you behind that. And you, of all people, all this talk about not being that guy, you have done nothing but over the last 2 days but tell me that your movie parties were more important, including the night before last. When I said to you the same thing, stay. And today you apologized, said I love you, I'm so sorry. And then today it takes you 2 seconds. It takes you 20 seconds at most to go, that, I hate you, I don't want to be with you, goodbye, I'm leaving, I'm running away. But I'm not running, I'm walking away.
Well, the one thing is for sure, I don't want to be with you. I don't. I really don't.
Then if you don't want to be with me in life,
Goodbye.
then you need to actually do it. You need to actually take off your ring and forget that 5 hours ago you said the opposite. Otherwise, you can't keep throwing that around. You can't keep saying to me that this is something you care about.
There you go.
Is that what it's worth to you?
Yeah. Yeah. For you, from all this, these rules, all these.
Rules? Because I asked you to stay?
Look, because you.
Because I asked you to stay.
No, because you're.
What was it? What was it when you asked me to
Because you're a
stay?
pain in the ass.
What was it when you asked me
I
to
can't
stay?
stand it no more.
What was it when you asked me to stay? In Australia, you said you promised me not to leave. You said you promised me not to leave. What did I do?
I thought you would change.
What did I do?
Not change.
What did I do?
Not change.
Did I stay or did I leave?
You changed.
Did I stay or did I leave?
You stayed and you didn't change and you were
Stayed.
in the ass and you were.
So I stayed, and I've been a ever since, which is why you told me
Pretty
about every other day how you couldn't imagine your life without me, including today. So,
When
which
you
guy, does that seem normal to
When
you?
you're
Does that
good,
seem
right?
normal to you? The guy, you told me tonight that you couldn't imagine your life without me, and now you're throwing your ring on the ground. Does that seem normal?
That's how you tell me.
That seems sober? You seem
Give me
normal?
the definition of normal. You.
Does that seem normal?
You.
Does that seem normal to you?
Borderline personality disorder.
I'm borderline personality disorder now.
Without question.
When I've been consistent all night saying, don't go, don't f this all up. I'm not fighting with you anymore.
In response to Tara's testimony, Amber had claimed that there were several fights on the island. She claims that it was Johnny that was charging at her. She's basically saying here that she was throwing a paint thinner in self-defense because Johnny was charging at her. She claims that Johnny had co-opted with her and grabbed her by the ear and yanked her all around and hitting her in the face as she tried to gain balance. She did not deny jumping on top of. She did not deny anything that Tara said in terms of jumping on top of the car vehicle as Johnny was trying to leave. All those things, she didn't deny it. She just alleges more incidents that actually happened on this occasion. But the most interesting part about all of this, in this witness statement, she basically says that Johnny was begging her to go to the island with her. We saw those text messages, and we know for a fact he was not doing the begging. She was. Like I said, she just completely turned this whole thing around because she knows that she was losing him, and she was trying to convince him whichever way that she does best. It could have been, as Dr. Blaustein posited in his deposition, makeup sex as Depp at report. It could have been anything. We don't know. But what is apparent was they went to the island, and this is what happened in terms of what Tara is claiming, to which she doesn't really deny. She just goes around the topic and only explains one part of it, which is the paint supplies and all of that. But it's very conclusive in the sense that we have already seen the text messages that showed that she was trying her best to go on the island and try and find out what's going on with that. That doesn't scream of someone that's trying to beg her to go with him. It's a direct opposition to what she's claiming right here in court under oath.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge thinks. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
All these incidents are connected. We see on the 13th of January 2016, that she does report to Laura Anderson that she was hiding in the bathroom to actually escape from Depp. There is only one account anywhere of there being somebody hiding in the bathroom. I don't know how to take this incident, because in the witness statement she does mention going into the bathroom. She also mentions that he breaks into the bathroom and chokes her up to the wall and puts her on the wall. That's it. There is no account of hiding in the bathroom. This is another catch-22 with Laurel Anderson, because now I'm wondering, where is this bathroom incident ever even cited? There is no record of her hiding in the bathroom. The only time that she even alleges that she was hiding in the bathroom was to say in the audio where Depp was saying that he was the one hiding in the bathroom. So that's the only time, and this was for Toronto, not even Bahamas. I truly don't know how to process this, and I've refrained from calling anything here a lie, but this has to be a blatant lie, and it's provably lie. At this time, it's not an inconsistent statement where I can look at and say, actually, based on this, she didn't allege this before, but she's alleging this now. But this one is an actual lie, in the sense that she was accounting for one incident to have happened in the bathroom, and on top of that doesn't account for the hiding in the bathroom or when that would possibly happen, but actually goes on to tell Laura Anderson not the incident that she was accounting later on in the future. But that's not even the issue. Not that she didn't tell her, or she had to tell her, like I've always said, but she did mention the bathroom that this incident supposedly took place. But she's saying that she was the one that was hiding in it and she wasn't doing anything, and the only thing that she did was throw a kind of paint at him, and turns around to say that it was done in self-defense, which could have been the case. That's actually the sad part about this case. Most of these things could have happened somewhere, I don't know, but based on all I've seen and analyzing this case in its totality, there is nothing to actually suggest that little fine line of there's an element of truth to there, because most of this is just not credible. There are messages to say that at the time he was actually suggesting that there was nail varnish.
I was waiting for her to dispense with that Kleenex because I didn't trust it. And so I waited, and then I pulled the Kleenex out of the trash, and I inspected it pretty closely and realized that it was nail polish, nail varnish.
The whole time. The whole time.
I think Depp was actually trying to leave her. I think the account from her saying that he was looking for other women is actually a true account. She reacted violently, and Depp was just trying to restrain her. Here we have Depp trying to go to see his daughter.
Then let's not do this anymore, because I'm really getting frustrated, and I'm really, really, really sick of this argument.
Stop. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me go, and you go, and I'll speak to you in a couple hours. Okay? Okay?
Stop. Okay.
Why are you saying stop?
May I go? Please, it causes me so much stress when you leave, when you walk away from me with that. It's like you don't understand how much worse you're making this.
I can't believe this.
Please, you're making it worse for me.
Okay, I'm sorry for you.
Please, I'm only trying to tell you so that you know you're causing me immense stress right now when you walk away like that. There's no reason to be mad.
Well, then say goodbye. I haven't walked away. You're not saying goodbye. You won't let me leave. Let me leave.
Oh my God. Stop rushing me! Stop pushing me in the corner and then poking me with a stick and then saying, why aren't you saying the words you want me to say? Stop poking me! Stop rushing me! Stop throwing me against the wall and going, what? You don't like that wall? You don't like the f***ing wall? Stop pushing me!
Remember, I'm not pushing you. I'm not rushing you. I said, I need space. I don't want this conversation anymore right now. I need space. And I will take my space. Whether you like it or not, I will take it. And you will take your space. But this is not, bro. This is not happiness. This is not.
Please stop doing this. Please, you're causing me so much fucking stress. I'm gonna die at this age. I'm gonna fucking die. You're causing me so much stress. Please stop. Please, I feel like I have a heart attack almost every day. Please stop. Please stop doing it. Please stop. He's so mean. Please stop. Please stop. I've been begging you not to fight. I just said, can we please have a normal argument? Just even a normal conversation. Normal argument. And for the last hour, I've been begging you to please just leave it at that. Let's just go on with our night. I would have been able to come in with you. We would have been able to let it go in a few minutes. It would have been fine. If we allowed ourselves to have fucking normal arguments. Please, you're killing me with this. You're killing me. You're killing me.
It's you and Mr. Depp in the recording, correct, Ms. Heard?
That's correct.
You just won't let him go, will you?
That's not true. We were outside of his studio and he wanted to go and use. It was a pretext. The claim that he was upset with me was a pretext so that he would go on a bender. I knew that pattern by the time this recording happened.
Anyone buy testimony now that you were outside Mr. Depp's studio?
I believe that
he was going to go
use. Excuse me?
He was going to go use drugs? That's your testimony now?
We were outside his studio, his man cave house, if you will, in the car, I believe, during that recording.
And he was going to go inside and use?
That was the pattern. And as you can hear from my voice, I'm very, very, very scared of entering into the next cycle under what I had been conditioned to understand we were at that point in our relationship.
That's not true, is it, Ms. Heard? Mr. Depp was trying to go inside his house to see his daughter, Lily Rose.
She might have been over that day, but
So
that's not
it's your
what he was
testimony
getting out of
now?
the car to do, and that's not what I was stopping him from doing.
Let's play the beginning part of that recording where Mr. Depp tells you that he wants to go inside to see his daughter.
I want it just to. Why don't you just say, okay, baby, I understand. I'll go home and you do your thing, hang out with your daughter, and then I'll see you in a couple hours and we'll talk about it. Is it that difficult to say that? Or you just hate me and you want to be shitty about it? Please. Just, it's not that difficult. Okay? I don't want to stand here in a driveway and argue with you. Okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Please? Please. Just let me know if you're gonna go somewhere. Just let me know, please, so I know.
And almost an hour later, you're still arguing with Mr. Depp outside, right?
I don't know how long that argument lasted, no.
This is from February 10, 2016. And I'm going to ask you to play it.
It's my perception that she's trying to frame that video as he's mad at people that aren't there. Yep. Look at Emily. It's like we know things.
Again with this.
Oh. TMZ, this is not your video. Don't copyright strike my video again.
Hold on to your hats, everybody. Johnny assaults some cabinets. It's really terrifying.
She said she was terrified it was going to turn on her. That's what she just testified to.
What happened?
She said she was scared coming into this interaction.
They are dragging this out as long as possible, aren't they, Stephanie?
Get it, stupid cabinet.
Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Those are his cabinets, by the way. You are allowed to break your own stuff.
No.
Nothing happened to you.
You're right, I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice.
That's not what she just said.
We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen?
It's not about
You.
you.
This morning? I don't think so.
That cup is in so many. That cup is in so many of the videos. Mega pint!
Oh, you're crazy.
Yep.
This is actually the origin of
Have you
Mega
drunk
Pint.
this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going? You got this going? Oh, really? Really?
Why? So nothing happened to her this morning. So Johnny Depp was having a bad day.
And didn't you were smashing
I think we just switched to Amber camera.
Okay. There we go. Mega pints, everybody. Mega pints, everybody. Cheers.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
The video that that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He testified that at the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera, that wasn't included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know what video TMZ
I'm talking
received.
about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Heard. Let's just
So you're
focus on
asking me to
Mr.
repeat
Tremaine.
his testimony?
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes, I heard his testimony. We all did.
And he testified that the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking in that video.
I disagree with that.
Was also not included in the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
That's because the video came from you, right, Ms. Heard?
No, it did not.
You
That
edited
video
out
did
the
not
portions.
come to me.
Ms.
Come
Heard,
from me.
Ms. Heard, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending it to TMZ.
You're very wrong about that.
So
If
that
I
only
wanted to
Mr.
leak
Depp
information, I
looked
could have
bad.
done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because you
I
knew
was
exactly
living
how to
with
do
a
that,
mountain
right?
of this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
That's not
But you
really what
testified
you
earlier
on the
in this
stand.
trial that you don't know how to leak things.
I don't.
She's imploding like this.
You edited that video before you
can't
gave it to
believe
TMZ so that
they
only
left
Mr.
her this
Depp would look
vulnerable.
bad. Yes?
That's absurd.
Right in the middle of your divorce proceedings.
Again, you're very wrong.
This isn't lawyerly indignation. Camille looks
to show you,
genuinely
a
pissed.
picture.
From some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
What does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Your attorney filed a document in court yesterday stating that, quote, an emergency has arisen which requires ex parte relief, end quote. Would you like to see a copy of this document?
I would.
Yeah, I will.
Before I show you the copy of the document, do you know
Your 36 minutes is up.
was there any emergency yesterday that you had?
Objection, harassing.
Did you have any emergency, Ms. Heard?
Yeah, we're out of time.
We're out of time. Deposition is over.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it, folks.
Thank you.
I'm not adjourning this deposition yet.
Move on to the next incident. That is the incident around her birthday celebrations.